Hello, everybody. It's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast. And this is your podcast for the week ahead, the week of December 19th. So just, halfway through, let's just do a little check-in. Thinking about the monthly energy, thinking about this hangman and this world, thinking about the idea of the puzzle pieces revealing themselves to you in a new way, meaning you thought you knew what you had on the table, like you thought you knew what your materials were. Something is generating creativity, newness, a new perspective around your materials. And it's causing you to realize, A, you have everything you need. B, it's surprising you how the things are taking shape. It's not what you expected. It's not what you thought was going to take shape. What you thought you were playing with at the beginning of the month versus what you're actually dealing with towards the end of the month are going to feel like same but different. And the King of Cups week that we were just in definitely brought you somewhere deeper than you maybe wanted to go. Deeper is not necessarily good or bad. It's just richer. It's more emotional depth. So that can show up as confronting some fears, feeling like a little afraid or unsteady or, just the water's deeper here than I expected it to be. Or it could be feeling more passionate about something than you realize. Like, oh, actually, my feelings for this thing, this person, this idea, they run deeper than I imagined. Or it could be just allowing yourself to be a more emotional creature, to trust or feel or work with your emotions in a way that you haven't before. This is, again, like new terrain. We're on a new field. We do not have home field advantage. So there's something about this that probably is connected to either a person or a place or an idea or an idea of yourself or a role you're playing. And you wanted to remember, and I'm sure you did, your sovereignty in that. I'm okay. I know who I am. I can play on a new field. I can swim in new waters. And I might feel a little trepidation, a little moments of self-doubt, but basically, like, I know who I am. I know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I know how to be here. And so there's that energy of remembering your sovereignty and allowing that faith in self, that trust in self, to make you a little braver in terms of where you'll venture out into, the waters you'll venture out into. I want to say that we're at the solstice this weekend, and the solstice is, I was speaking with my brilliant acupuncturist, who I just love her. I have so many amazing healers and women and guides in my life. And my life is not perfect, but when I tell you, sometimes I think about the friendships I have, and I think about the community I've developed and how they support me and how they're there for me and how they just care for me with such tenderness, which I think is someone who likes to be the caregiver, who likes to care for other people. So much of my journey the past few years has been allowing myself to be taken care of. And there's just such a sweetness in that. There's such a sweetness in the women that hold you and tend to you and care for you and just like are rooting for you. It's such a sweet thing. Anyways, my acupuncturist, I always feel that from her. I always feel this sense of like, wherever I am, she's there with me and she can't wait to see what's next. And just like, I have such a deep affection and love for her. Anyways, so we were talking about the solstice, and what she said to me, which I've never heard before, she was doing a treatment on me, and she said she was doing a treatment to strengthen my sense of grounding. She said that during the solstice, we usually rely on the sun, whether we're conscious of that or not. We're kind of pulling on the sun for grounding and energy, and it's as far away as it's going to be for us in the Northern Hemisphere. And something about the way that the earth is turning, or maybe it's the quiet of the earth this time of year. I can't remember exactly what she said, but the conclusion was that we are particularly untethered right now. So we're particularly unmoored right now. We don't have these usual balance points of the earth and the sun that we might just kind of sink into or feel like propped up by. That doesn't exist. So the solstice, it's so crazy that we're expected to be like in full holiday mode, because like the instinct actually is to get very quiet, is to kind of hold yourself with a little more, tenderness, but also patience than you might normally, and let yourself float a bit. And Nina, my lovey bestie, is home from France, and she came over yesterday First of all, I started crying the minute I saw her. I didn't realize how much I missed her, but we were just catching up, and we were both talking. We have these two paths in our lives that we've both been working with for a very long time, and they're different, but they're very parallel. And we always get into these deep talks around like, okay, this is where I am in this place. And she'll be like, oh, I'm exactly there, but in this other place. And then she'll tell me something, and I'm like, oh my God, that resonates with where I am here. And we were kind of going over that, and the sensation we both had, she talked about it like being in the ocean and not having anywhere to swim to, and not in a scary way, just kind of like in a, okay, there's no islands for me. There's nothing to set a course by. And I was talking about it as this quiet emptiness that I've never quite experienced before in this one dimension of my life. And we're both like, what do we do with it? And again, it's so beautiful to have women in community and people that know you and connect with you, because you can say to them, I feel like I'm sitting in a vacuum. What's happening? And they can say, hey, me too. And then even though it doesn't solve anything for either of you, there is this kind of coherence and this resonance of, oh, okay, all right, me too. Like, I'm not the only one in this kind of funny place. And I just feel between the solstice and whatever this last gasp of shedding is, I mean, I know, so I can feel what's happening in like my little human body. And then I can also have the perception and the awareness that I know that we're entering this incredibly deep state of the fertile void. This 9-year has stripped away so much ego, so much sense of who we thought we were. This idea of, I also talked about this yesterday, do you recognize yourself? It came up in a session with someone this week, like, I don't know who I am anymore. And it's like, what does that even mean? If you think of that as like a neutral statement, how interesting to be in a place where you are open-minded and curious about who you actually are in this moment. What actually do you care about? What matters to you? What feels rich and alive? What feels quiet? And just kind of looking at that with fresh eyes, with a fresh perspective. So just saying to you that we are in this place of, here's what I'll say. There's some energetic momentum. So energetic momentum. There's something in you, a desire, an idea, a new experience that is getting like richer and deeper and undeniable. And it's growing. Like, so you can think about it. My favorite analogy these days is like a boiler. You can feel the steam building, the pressure building. And in the past, we had very specific techniques for off-gassing that. We have very specific techniques for releasing the pressure. I love when my New York accent comes out. For releasing the pressure. And those may have been very effective techniques for a long time. They don't satisfy, and actually in many ways you can reach for something that you used to do to off-gas, and you can't get it. Like, it's a dead end, or the universe is like a wall there, or you shall not pass. There's this energy of you being forced to stay in the percolation, in the steam building. And so whatever that looks like for you, full permission, it's not going to last forever. That's the thing. We get scared because we're like, am I going to stay in this kind of empty place, or this quiet place, or this void, like moment? But so it's like this tension between the void, the quietness around you, and the pressure building inside of you. And just physics wise, it's not sustainable. Something will shift. The system cannot maintain that kind of dissonance between emptiness and heat, frisson, momentum. So the physics will change it. Your job is to not look to off gas when you know it's not the right thing. Hope that makes sense. Like, don't look to relieve the pressure. See if you can stay with and maybe ground down into whatever's building. Maybe, and this is a classic technique, can you let it feel good? Even the discomfort, even the churning, can you find some pleasure in that? Can you find some, and you think about that, like great poetry that's written from that place of yearning. Also, if you're not watching Heated Rivalry, firmly, strongly recommend it. And I don't care what you think. Like, it is, honestly, it's a moment. It is a moment where some dial is being turned, where we are remembering that we love each other, that we want to be in union, that we want to be connected. Something very beautiful is happening, like energetically, with that story entering our mythology. And I just can't say enough about it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. But so allowing yourself to feel the pressure, even that, like I was saying, like great poetry is written from this place of yearning. The yearning is deeply painful, but it is a measure of your vitality. It is a measure that you are alive and that you want and that you're not done yet. And so can you even just let that feel good, even in the moments of discomfort? And this equinox, like let the time pass, let yourself in whatever way you can float, knowing that again, the physics of the thing won't sustain. The sun and the earth will continue their cycles around each other. We will find a new center of gravity. Like all of that's going to get resolved, but we're kind of in this moment of floating, and that's okay. Okay, and then I pulled for us this week the Two of Pentacles, and I pulled it reversed. And again, like sometimes that lands, sometimes that doesn't. It really landed today. Like it landed today, like you're done with the in between. So this confirms everything I'm saying about the system not being able to maintain that kind of stasis. We're coming to the edge of both our holding of our own energy and the ability for the void to stay not unfertile, because it's always fertile, but to stay formless. Like the void can't help but begin to create shapes and movements and calls from the energetic exchange happening between your momentum and the stillness, the quietness, the emptiness. So the Two of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles in any time is talking about how are you balancing things, right? Is the energy of, is it this or that? Do I have to do work, but I also want to be in love. It's holding all the things that matter. It's my one child and my other child. It's this work project and that work project. It's paying the bills and taking care of the house. Like it's all the ways that we're constantly negotiating and juggling the very busyness of life. And when the Two of Pentacles comes up, there's this recognition that you feel torn, that you don't feel cohesive, that there's something about your material world that feels like it requires your attention and your maintenance. It also is always a reminder to check your own footing. How are you making yourself unstable? One of the classic things here is I have to make dinner, right? My classic one. How many dinners have I made? I have to make dinner versus I get to make dinner. I have money in the bank, food in the fridge, beautiful children to feed, healthy children to feed. There's so much beauty in that. And so the Two of Pentacles is like, how are you putting yourself off balance? Where are you the creator of the chaos? So that's usually what the message of the Two of Pentacles would be. But when it came in reverse, it felt so, you are done fucking around. Like that was the energy. It felt like this sense of, okay, listen, get busy living, get busy dying, get right with God. Like it was that kind of energy of like, enough of this nonsense, enough of this pretend busyness. Okay, so that felt really good. And I pulled some supporting cards, and I got the Ten of Swords, the Tower reversed, and the Knight of Wands, the Son of Wands. So that story right there, that beautiful story told by the tarot, is you have been hemming and hawing about something. You've been one foot in, one foot out. Like I was saying, you're trying to reach for something and the universe is like, nope, no go. You won't pass go. Don't collect your $200. It's like that kind of energy. And you're like, but what? I feel that I'm supposed to be there. And the universe being like, halt, wait. And that real discomfort between trying to get something to gain traction and getting such a hard boundary at the same time. And this dissonance between, this feels right. Like I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but then it not taking shape in the material world. This feels like that's enough of that. Like it feels like the system breaks or disrupts or reshuffles itself. And there's a way in which like no more making chaos for yourself, no more dissonance. There's something happening in my life. And I said, it's like a toggle. Like I keep like this toggle. I think, oh, we're going this way. And that's like, nope, we're going this way. Nope, we're going this way. And it's this back and forth. So whatever thing in your life or whatever part of you is like, oh, maybe, oh no, back and forth, enough of that. Like we're done with that. That's the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is like, you know what? This no longer works. This form, shape, body, done. And my favorite thing about the Ten of Swords, right? It doesn't get any deader. Whatever you're seeing, whatever's falling away, it's really, truly done. And the Tower says that this might have been a little shocking. This path might not have unfolded the way you thought it was. And it might have been an ego hit, or it might have been a structural hit, or it might have been a sense of where you're containing yourself that's actually old or limits your vitality or limits your expression or limits the shape you can take. And that coming in reverse says that that is quieting as well. So that's settling down. And then the Knight of Wands or the Son of Wands says, and now it's time to get going, get busy. And so there's this way in which the path has been like, bleh, like so undefined and kind of messy. And then pull it together. Okay, that kind of hurt. I had a little bit of an ego hit there, a little shocked, a little like, okay, like doesn't feel great. The sense of it doesn't get any deader. Like you had to get to the point where you were dead, but it's better than the Nine of Swords. There's no more perseverating. There's no more like, was it perseverating? What's the word? There's no more looping, looping, looping. There's this, okay, enough of that. I love Love Actually. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies. And when I watched it when I was young, I was like, it's so romantic. Now I watch it and I'm like, oh my God, it's so toxic. But when he goes and he shows the cards and he's like, I'm in love with you, blah, blah, blah. And then he walks away and he says, enough now, or like done with that now, or something like that. That's the energy for this week. Like this kind of messy movement that wasn't actually generating anything real. Maybe what it was generating was the emotional charge for you to strip away whatever this ego was, whatever this step was. And now it's like, okay, I put that down and now enough already. Time to move on, time to go. And I was reading something on Instagram the other day where she was saying something about the astrology of right now is that the nodes close the door behind you. So the new door might not be available yet, but there's no going back either. And this feels like that. And it feels good though. It feels like, yeah, that was a lot of energy churning internally, trying to make some internal shifts, some like egoic shifts, and it accomplished what it needed to accomplish. And now the charge dissipates, and now the confusion dissipates, and now I know what to do next. So, and Knight of Wands, follow your passion, follow your desire, follow what turns you on. And not because you have to get that thing or that person or that project or that outcome, but because your desire isn't wrong. It's your vitality calling you towards something. So we honor what it's calling us towards, and at the same time, we release attachment to getting the thing. So you're called towards a person or you're called towards a project. It's not about getting the person in the way you imagine or getting the project in the way you imagine. It's who you become in the process of moving towards that thing that then expands what other realities and timelines might open up for you. Sometimes we chase the thing, we move towards the thing, and we don't get it. But what have we learned in the process? That's like the richness. That's the beautiful part. So that is what I have for you. It hasn't been easy. And it's something about these towers that are showing up and the Nine of Swords and the Three of Swords has been showing up in a lot of readings is this quiet heartbreak, this quiet dismantling. That's hard. Like it's hard sometimes to sit with your own pain and not even have a particular reason for it or a marker or an event that you can say, well, it's because of this. So it's just kind of this existential of, gosh, it's hard to be human sometimes. And listen, the holidays, dude, they sound great in the songs. It sounds great, and it is great. There's beautiful moments of coming together. That's the other thing Nina and I were talking about. The art you make and the connections you have with people or places or energies, that's it. That's all that matters. The rest of it's just like maintenance, like literally walking the wheel, not in a good way, just wandering around until you can make some art, until you can make some beauty, until you can connect with someone, you can connect with a new place. Like that's the stuff that we live for. And so there's moments of that in the holidays, and there's also loss and loneliness and the darkness and the void. And it's okay to not be running at full wattage all of the time. It's okay to recognize that you can hold both at the same time, that you can be grateful for this moment in the year and grateful for the festival of lights that surround us in whatever way, and also feel the recognition in your heart of the darkness and the emptiness and the existential thought of like, does anyone see me? Am I here alone? And sometimes we feel like we are, and then we don't, and then we do. And it's like, it's all okay. And literally the invitation is, can you find the pleasure in it? And you know what I'm talking about. The pleasure of like a good cry or a good ache or a good desire, yearning for something. Like there's an ache in that hurts, but it has its own deep pleasure as well. that's available to you as well. Like you can sit with the existential, woe is me, and make art from that. Let yourself be transformed and reformed from the truth, because truth, dude, truth, it's everything. If only more of us just said what was true, I don't know what would happen, but it would be a nicer place to inhabit the world. Like it would just be a more open, clear place, and that would feel, in my system at least, lovely. I dig truth. It like turns me on. It's what I want. I am not afraid of you. I am not afraid of me. I love what is true. Okay. Listen, I won't talk to you guys. So Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy solstice, whatever you celebrate. And listen, use the solstice energy. Call back to you what you want. Like say out loud, as the light returns, so does this. It's a beautiful, simple ritual, and it works so beautifully with the energy that we're in. Take good care of yourself. It's okay to feel a little lonely, a lot lonely this time of year. It's okay to feel held this time of year. It's okay to feel incredible joy and deep grief all at the same time. You are human and you contain multitudes. And I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.